Report. It is January 13th, 2025. Supposedly there is finally a hostage deal imminent. Now we have heard this 15 times, 30 times, 50 times, probably more really. But it does seem like we are pretty close to having this happen. And they're kind of saying it's like a gift from Trump to Biden to give him kind of like a win as he goes out. So I don't know what to think. So maybe there is more to it. Maybe it's all going to break down. I don't know. Really don't know. So sending it. Hello. How's the sound? I was having microphone issues earlier. Hopefully it looks good. Sounds like, looks like it's okay. So, tired. I got to get going on all this. I'm not going to be real long-winded to start. The kids. All right, 5x78. Cool. I'm not going to get real super long-winded on this open and get going. So, you guys, it is Monday, and I need sleep. Had a very big week ahead of me, and I had not much weekend. So, but I get sleep in this weekend coming up. But we're going to talk about all this stuff, this hostage deal, whatever the heck happened last night. Israel was hammering southern Lebanon, and they're like, oh, there's the ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel is done. And haven't heard much since about it. So what I think is going on is this. This is what I think. I think they're really close to a hostage deal, possibly, which Israel, in the minds of people like Amir Sarfati, is going to take it on the chin. But they want to get these last 30 or so people back so they can say, hey, we did everything we could. We fought this big war. And at that point, they're just going to throw down. So there still is a long way to go with this thing. So they're saying the 31st of January. I don't know. We'll see. But it's long time coming. They need to get this done. So, all right. We're going to get started. And this is your crisis report for January 13th, 2025. Hostage deal imminent. It's probably the 5th to 12th time I've had this as a title. So it's 2025 version. Here we go. An Israeli helicopter shot down a Yemeni drone in southern Israel. Trump's Vice President J.D. Vance clarified the implications of Trump's threat to unleash HE-double hockey sticks in the Middle East if Gaza hostages are not freed before he takes office. One would be allowing Israel to eliminate Hamas's remaining 2 brigades in central Gaza and its leadership. 2 would be imposing severe sanctions on nations supporting terror organizations in the Middle East. Vance added that Trump's threat helps advance negotiations, potentially leading to an agreement within a day or two before he takes office. So, we'll see. Israeli media reports on dramatic moments leading up to the hostage deal. Details agreed upon, awaiting Hamas's final response. Don't hold your breath. Hamas will never accept anything less than the complete stop of the war and full withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, a move that would allow them to remain in power. This is Amir Sarfati. This is what he thinks is what they should hold out for, or basically he thinks that Israel's about to take it on the chin. So he thinks this is a bad deal. We'll see. Netanyahu's talking to Ben Gvir. Yeah. There? Good Lord. Consider this. Hamas maintains its political wing in Qatar and or Turkey, whereas its military wing is based in Gaza. While the political wing has consented, the military wing routinely rejects all proposals. Even though Sinwar might be dead, his brother is still alive and effectively in charge. So that's why we bring in Amir Sarfati. You might not like him. You might be on pro-Palestine team. But guess what? You listen to both sides, you'll get a clear picture. That's what they think. According to Reuters report, the final draft of the deal was submitted to both Hamas and Israel for approval. Sudden inclusion of Israel in the approval process suggests only one thing. External forces are pressuring us to sign a deal we didn't initiate. I'm categorically opposed to any agreement that would mandate a full withdrawal of the IDF from Gaza or end the war before Hamas is neutralized. So, Amir wants more war. Is it buffering? Yeah. Member of the Israeli Political and Security Cabinet, Minister of Finance Bezalel Smotrich said the big deal is that it is taking shape catastrophe for the national security of the state of Israel. We will not be part of a surrender deal that would include releasing mega terrorists, stopping the war, and destroying achievements that were brought before with much blood, and abandoning many hostages. Count Chad, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Sin and war. Yeah. I like that. Sinwar. Best name for a terrorist ever. Sin and war. I never thought about that. This is the time to continue with all our might to occupy and cleanse the entire strip, to finally take control of humanitarian aid from Hamas, and to open the gates of hell on Gaza until Hamas surrenders completely and all the hostages are returned. Was it Hamas or actually Netanyahu that folded under the massive pressure of President Trump? The next 48 hours will reveal details and answer the question. Qatar is hosting this round of ceasefire talks in Doha at the same time as talks are ongoing. Qatar's Al Jazeera is publishing stories like this. Both Hamas and Al Jazeera are Qatari assets. Israel plans to establish 2 zones of influence in Syria. The first, 15-kilometer deep with a permanent Israeli military presence, and the second, 60 kilometers deep, reaching Damascus under Israeli intelligence control. Danish foreign minister. Uh-oh, I'm losing people. Are we still buffering? Okay. Danish foreign minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen. Denmark acknowledges that the U.S. has security interests in the Arctic and is ready to discuss them with the new administration. That would be Mr. Trump. Hamas issues dramatic announcement. Freedom of our prisoners who are in Israeli prisons is near. Biden drops a bomb just before his departure. Restriction on chips to Israel. Yep. Biden administration has announced new export controls on advanced AI chips, imposing restrictions on key allies like Israel, Singapore. Meanwhile, 20 trusted countries, Australia, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Republic of Korea, Poland, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, and the United Kingdom are exempt from these caps, allowing them unrestricted access to cutting-edge U.S. chip technology. America basically doesn't trust the Israelis when it comes to that. Wow. So, Japan following a 6.9 magnitude earthquake in Hyuga, Nada. See, a tsunami advisory is in effect. Waves up to 1 meter are expected. Residents near coastal areas, drivers, rivers and such, lakes should evacuate the higher ground immediately. I guess it didn't really amount to much. I understand Netanyahu aims to secure the release of as many hostages as possible before any further actions against Iran's nuclear sites. It's acceptable if the pause in Gaza is only a tactical move specifically for this purpose. However, while Iran is over 1,000 miles away from Israel, Hamas is right at our border. It was Hamas that carried out the October 7th massacre during Netanyahu's tenure, and thus they need to be destroyed. Mediators told Hamas they demand an answer by midnight today in the hostage deal and the Gaza ceasefire. Saudi report, Hamas returned its response to the draft deal without comments. Qatari Al Arabiya Channel. Trump envoy Steve Witkoff told Prime Minister Netanyahu, if a ceasefire is not signed, the consequences will also include Israel. Reports that several government ministries and hospitals have been instructed to prepare to receive hostages in Israel. Donald Trump, Canada, he said, we don't need the fuel or the energy or the oil and gas, and we don't need anything that they have. So, there you go. China's trade surplus is now a record high of $992 billion, equivalent to 2024, rising by 10.7% year over year. That is the GDP of Australia or Indonesia. So, Ukraine attacked the last active gas pipeline from Russia to Europe. Zelensky is trying to sink the economy of Europe. January 11th, Kiev attempted to attack a station in Kuban, which supplies gave via the Turkish stream with UAVs in order to stop gas supplies to Europe. During the repulse of the attack, air defense units shot down all the UAVs. Russian Defense Ministry. Attack on the Turkish stream is equivalent to an infringement on the sovereignty of the countries that use it, Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó stated in response to the Ukrainian armed forces strike on the compressor station. January 13th, January 26th, 2025, non-NATO countries will conduct steadfast DART 25 exercise, Bulgaria, Greece, Romania, involving at least 10,000 military personnel. Aim is to test the alliance's rapid deployment capabilities in a simulated armed conflict scenario against an equal strength opponent. Participating nations include Bulgaria, France, Greece, Italy, Romania, Spain, Slovenia, Turkey, and England, with the England contributing the largest contingent of over 250 troops and 730 pieces of equipment. For the first time, Finland's F-18 Hornet fighter jet will be deployed to Keflavik Air Base in Iceland, part of NATO operations beginning February. Ukraine has halted coal mining in a major site in Pokrovsk due to the advancing Russian army. Mining operation previously conducted by the Ukrainian intellectual building, Medinvest, has ceased to the frontline approaches dangerously close to the area. This site is crucial, supplying a significant portion of coking coal for Ukraine's steel industry, and its closure could severely impact steel production, potentially reducing output from 6 to 7 million tons to just 2 to 3 million tons annually. UK's Keir Starmer proclaims that Britain will be one of the great AI superpowers as the country's economy shows zero growth. So, high electricity prices too. Attack on Charles Darwin's grave in Westminster Abbey by far-left clerical radicals. California is on fire. DNC hires Kamala HQ staffers to combat misinformation from the Republican disinformation machine. J.P. Morgan chief Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It was used heavily by sex traffickers, money launderers, ransomware. Earlier today, Bitcoin briefly dropped below $90,000. Washington Post web traffic has cratered from 22.5 million to 2021 to 3 million by the middle of 2024, according to a report by Semaphore. Indian Prime Minister opens strategic tunnel to China border zones. Kremlin says new sanctions will destabilize international energy market. All right, I guess we're back. Texas Governor Abbott orders U.S. flags to be flown at full staff for Inauguration Day on the 20th, rejecting Joe's directive to lower them to half staff. Suspect arrested with a flamethrower near Los Angeles fires. Hey, he's an illegal immigrant. Who could have saw that coming? Suspect identified as Juan Manuel Sierra Leva. It's a Mexican national who is in the United States illegally. Authorities are blaming fireworks from New Year's Eve for the Palisades fire that has devastated Los Angeles. An illegal immigrant caught with $1 million worth of drugs and guns had exploited a Massachusetts refugee program to live rent-free in a state-subsidized hotel. That's awesome. Getting his money back. All 5 parties in the Greenland's parliament says they oppose Greenland becoming a part of the United States. Dang. Israeli scientists have demonstrated the possibility of preventing wildfires like Los Angeles fires with an iron dome. Gates and other billionaires have not ruled out of establishing an artificial protective shield in the atmosphere to prevent the sun from reaching our planet. Okay. VP-elected Vance announced that he will not attend the inauguration of Trump. Hopefully everyone's cool with me skipping the inauguration so I can go. National title game. Okay. Some sources suggest that something big will happen in D.C. Well, of course, it's inauguration. It's Orange Man bad. Israeli Air Force targeted yesterday evening the outskirts of Deir al-Zahrani, Lebanon. Indicates that the Hezbollah weapons store was bombed. U.S. Army Boeing CH-47 Chinook military transport helicopters deployed to fight Los Angeles wildfires. Both the Eaton and Palisades fires continue to threaten thousands of homes and multiple fronts. Denmark has confirmed its readiness for dialogue with Trump on the Arctic territories, country's foreign minister said. Baltic and Nordic countries urge G7 to lower Russian oil price ceiling. Bloomberg, the lower that the price of Russian oil, the faster that peace will come, says Swedish Foreign Minister Maria Malmer Stenegard. There it is. Okay. Boom. Venezuela President Maduro said he would invade Puerto Rico and liberate the country from the U.S. Freedom from Puerto Rico is within reach, and we will achieve it, Maduro has said. Magnitude 6.9 earthquake occurred with its epicenter in the Nada Sea, triggering tsunami warnings, NHQ News has reported. Russian military hospital caught on fire in Tula. First engulfed the top floor of the building. Causes of the emergency are unknown. Rescuers are working the scene. Biden has reportedly concealed any plans to strike Iran's nuclear facilities due to the fact the administration taking office next week. Reports FBI Christopher Wray is warned of a China cyber program stolen more personal and corporate data from the U.S. than any other nation combined. Trump's becoming national security advisor says they're going to ask Ukraine to drop its draft age from 26 to 18-year-olds, adding that they could generate hundreds of thousands of new soldiers. If you Ukrainians have asked the entire world to be all in for the money, well, downside. 26-year-old. Trump's incoming national security advisor says he's going to ask Ukraine to drop its age 18. Yep. FBI Director Christopher Wray says China has sleeper cells all over the United States. Lovely. Strategically positioned around critical infrastructure, like lying in wait, like wreak havoc. FBI Director Christopher Wray announced his resignation, citing his willingness to involve the agency in a political fight with Trump's administration. So, Israel flights suspended at Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion Airport after a missile attack from Yemen. Our missile from Yemen intercepted outside the territory of Israel, Army spokesperson said. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, speaking in the European Parliament in Brussels, warned if the EU countries do not start to allocate significantly more than 2% of GDP for defense, then in 4 to 5 years they will be tough to learn Russian. If we do not do this, 4 to 5 years we will have to take Russian language courses or go to New Zealand. Germany, Bundeswehr, will create territorial defense division. It consists of regiments of 1,000 people, each stationed mostly in the western sector. The Corps will be made up of reservists who will operate under the command of military personnel. The territorial defense will be under Army command from April 1st. And, I was waiting for the end date. Confirming a report by Germany news agency DPA. So, no, I didn't see you live in Toronto. I said you were shopping in Toronto, girl. No, I know you don't live in Toronto. You live up by that beautiful lake you were fishing in. No, I thought you said you're shopping in Toronto today. I might have heard you wrong or messed up. So, no. I'm just tired, Jen. That's all. U.S. Navy to name CVN 82 and CVN 83, respectively, the 5th and 6th of the Gerald B. R. Ford class nuclear-powered supercarriers after Presidents Clinton and Bush Sr. USS William J. Clinton is expected to enter the fleet in 2036, roughly 4 years after the USS Doris Miller, and will be replacing the Nimitz-class carrier USS Theodore Roosevelt. So, they name them after presidents, and I guess it's time for them. So, I'm not going to repeat that one. I don't know what that. Anyway, a wave of hospitalizations due to human metapneumovirus is reportedly sweeping across China, with images of overcrowded hospitals raising concerns about a potential second global Ronademic. Users on the Chinese social media platform Weibo have noted a significant increase in respiratory illness cases over the past month. The YouTube channel Decoding China has suggested that the current situation may be worse in 2022 when the Rona Omicron, or as we used to call it here, Omicron, variant prompted strict lockdown measures and resulted in thousands of deaths in the country. China discussed the sale of TikTok to Elon Musk as possible option, per Bloomberg. Violent clashes have erupted near the Lebanese-Syrian border between Syrian forces and Hezbollah forces trying to smuggle weapons into Lebanon. Ukrainian drones are targeting the Alexin area, Tula region of Russia. Russian air defenses are working intensively over the area. Tonight, the Tula region is under massive attack by Ukrainian drones, said the governor of the region, Dmitry Miliev. He noted that air defense systems are currently on duty. According to preliminary information, our targets were hit. There are no casualties. Information about the damage is being clarified. Situation is under control, head of the region wrote. He said they are firing the long-range missiles daily. Sluggish economic outlook in France amid budget crisis. U.S. President Joe Biden. Iranian regime is weaker than it has been in decades. Positive news regarding a ceasefire in Gaza comes in. Traders as Polymarket now predict an 88% chance of reaching one by January 31st. I personally see a ceasefire being reached this week. 10 million people are at risk of evacuation as winds reaching up to 70 miles per hour threaten to intensify the flames, endangering the entire population of Los Angeles County. So, Secret Service agent overseeing President Trump's inauguration has declared it is a higher threat environment and confirmed that all available resources have been activated to ensure the safety of Trump and his supporters. NATO admits Ukraine is too weak and is not in a position to negotiate peace with Russia. Joe Biden has announced a one-time payment of $770 for those who lost everything in California wildfires after previously sending billions to Ukraine. The Alawite community in Syria, through spokesman Sheikh Saleh Mansour, has threatened to request military protection from France if violence against them persists. If the killing of members of the sect continue, we will seek international support, file a complaint to the UN through France, and demand the deployment of international forces to protect the sect until a lawful state is established to safeguard all Syrians, the spokesman said. North Korea has launched a suspected ballistic missile, report Japanese Prime Minister office has said. South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff, North Korea fires unidentified projectile into the East Sea. Biden announces $770 one-time payment for victims of the California fires. You get a big $770. That's awesome. Jesus. Yemen's Ansarullah announced that they targeted Tel Aviv with a Palestine 2 hypersonic missile and 4 drones, ballistic missile, hypersonic. So, Kevin O'Leary talked about Elon Musk possibly buying TikTok and put him down to reality. He said it's slim that's going to happen. I'm a huge Elon Musk fan. I mean, no question about it. He's a phenomenal entrepreneur, but the idea that the regulator, even under Trump's administration, would allow this, pretty slim, O'Leary said. Ceasefire and hostage exchange deal between Hamas and Israel appears imminent. Proposed 6-week ceasefire includes the release of 33 Israeli hostages in exchange for around 1,000 Palestinian prisoners, including minors and those with health issues. Discussions also cover 48 Palestinians rearrested after a 2011 exchange and 22 serving life sentences who may face exile. Key sticking points remain, such as the scope of the ceasefire and Israeli troop withdrawals from Gaza. Just landed in Florida in the news. This is Amir Sarfati on the supposed deal, okay, with the hostages. He said, I just landed in Florida, and in the news about the 5 fallen soldiers followed by the hostage deal hit me hard. If this is indeed the deal, it's even worse than I imagined. It suggests that committing acts of massacre, rape, burning, and kidnapping will ultimately get what they want. Moreover, Sinwar didn't care about the people of Gaza. His life mission was to secure the release of his friends with whom he served time in Israeli prisons. He may have died, but his wish was granted. I never trusted politicians, but today I have lost the little respect I still had for them. Terrorists must never be trusted, but rather destroyed. Sad days are ahead of us. The sight of bloodthirsty terrorists being released from prison to exchange for kidnapped individuals will be hard to watch. I'm an embarrassed and ashamed Israeli today, but God. So he's not real happy. So this is the full outline of the hostage deal between Israel and Hamas. He said 33 hostages will be released in the first phase. No deportations. Terrorists with blood on their hands won't be sent to the West Bank. Buffer zone will be established in Gaza for security. Israel will remain in Gaza until the hostages are freed. During the truce, Israel will hold the Philadelphia corridor. Security arrangements will allow Palestinians to return to northern Gaza via the Netzarim corridor. A summit is expected in Qatar tomorrow with the participation of Trump and Biden's envoys, Israeli intelligence chiefs, and the Qatari prime minister said. Mere fact that it's Qatar hosted by these Hamas supporters says it's all about the talks. Political source: Israel will not hand over the body of Artur Sinwar or to Hamas or part of the deal. It won't happen, period. Germany races to contain foot and mouth outbreak amid export fears. Mark Zuckerberg was at Mar-a-Lago on Friday in part to mediate a lawsuit Trump brought against Facebook and Zuckerberg in 2021 over the suspension of his account after January 6. Amongst the options for resolution is a settlement. Washington Post's web traffic has cratered from 22.5 million daily users in 2021 to 3 million middle of 2024. Oof. Unidentified drones spotted over the military facility in Munching, Germany, which houses the Air Force's Technical Center and conducts flight tests. Law enforcement officials reported seeing up to 10 drones, but despite extensive searches, including the deployment of police helicopter, no suspects have been identified. Since mid-December 2024, drone flights have been observed multiple times in Manching and nearby Neuburg on der Donau, where Eurofighter Typhoon jets are stationed. Authorities suspect that these drones are conducting reconnaissance and photographing military sites, potentially linked to espionage activities amid rising tensions related to Russia's actions in Ukraine. 3 German citizens have been charged with espionage for allegedly gathering military technology information for China's Ministry of State Security. They are accused of collecting data on naval technologies, including boat engines, sonar, and drones, and illegally exporting specialized lasers to China. U.S. intelligence agencies have noted an increase in reports of camouflage explosive devices on planes from Europe to North America, with Western officials suspecting Russian involvement. Recent incidents included incendiary devices igniting at DHL hubs in Germany and the England, linked to a plot orchestrated by Russian military intelligence. GRU Poland has arrested 4 individuals connected to this alleged sabotage operation, which aimed to test delivery channels for explosives intended for U.S. and Canadian targets. FBI Director Christopher Wray has stated in an interview that China is the greatest long-term threat to the United States and emphasized that the country should be a priority, especially following the weakening of Iran and Russia. He noted that the FBI opens a new counterintelligence case against China every 10 hours and stressed the importance of focusing on threats posed by China. And the potential financial insurance exposure to Los Angeles fires, $458 billion. That fair insurance program only has $700 million cash on hand to pay claims. So they're screwed. I think I said 450 billion the other night. That's what it's going to be. Right now, it was like 50 at the time. I think it's like 150 now. It's going to go up. It's so exponential. They don't even know what to do. So, yep, this is going to bankrupt a lot of different things. So, well, that's your crisis report for January 13th, 2025. Hit that like button, do the subscribe thing, and of course, all that. Check out the links in the description. We would love to have you back for more. And all I can say is thanks so much for being here. God bless you all. And we'll see you on the next one.